Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs?
What's up? What's up?
How we doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always.
What's up?
And today we have, hopefully you had a good weekend, by the way. I'm not even, just jumping right in. But today we have a rookie mock draft 1.0. The draft is like a couple weeks away. I don't know if we do another rookie mock. I think we should do one next week just for the kicks.
Probably should. I mean, last year we did like 5, didn't we?
I don't even remember.
I don't know if we did 5, but we did. I know we did more than 2.
I feel like the draft snuck the
3.
crap up on us.
Yeah, it did.
But anyway, welcome on in. We're going to do a rookie mock draft today. Try to give you some advice on the situational stuff that comes with rookie mocks. Now, we are typically a redraft show, and that's what we talk mostly about. And, people do mock drafts for redraft almost regularly. But you have to do rookie mock drafts too. It gives you an idea of where guys are going, what the situations are, and how things are flying. So we're going to do that. But before we do, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcast platforms, please leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like, and comment down below any questions you may have for this draft. You can grade us too if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him an F- because he didn't draft the guy I wanted in the 4th round.
An F-. It's not even just an F; it's an F-. Did he do that in schools? That's usually by the point you get to an F, it's not even like an F plus or an F or an F-. It's just that you failed. You measurable failure.
You just get an F.
Yeah, that's not
because you didn't take the guy from Iowa State in the 4th round. I'm gonna give you an F-.
So the information for this particular rookie draft, we're doing. I believe we're going to do PPR. Not that really fully makes a difference to me when I'm doing a rookie draft.
Mm-hmm.
But PPR 10-team. Superflex. So hopefully they get some quarterbacks off the board that are accurate. I don't know if you've done a ton of mock drafts lately, Rick, for rookie drafts. Have you done any?
I've done a single one.
Okay. Have a lot of quarterbacks gone off the board early, or has it typically been pretty?
In the one I did, there was one quarterback that went off the board very early, as you might have guessed, and then there was like a run on quarterbacks in the late 1st, early 2nd.
Okay. I just saw somebody else join another rookie draft that we have set up. A little late for that, my guy. Anyway, so obviously these mock drafts are important pertaining to certain, dynasty leagues. So like obviously you don't do a rookie draft without a specific team, but we'll try to give you guidance as best we can on guys that you should take in that specific area. This episode shouldn't take 2.5 centuries. It really shouldn't. We don't have the picks fly by. We can finish 6-7 rounds of a mock draft in about 25 minutes to an hour, to a half hour. So
yeah.
Anyway, you ready to get started?
Let's do it.
All right. So I have pick 4. If you're listening on the podcast.
Of course you did that.
And you have pick 5, so I like to screw you. We're going to start the draft, and I don't believe it's going to go to the next pick because I didn't set it. So,
okay, good job. So we're just going to be stuck on pick 1 for 10.
I'm going to auto pick here.
Okay.
All right, so it was Breece Hall. Now, the question is, I see Breece Hall, right?
Mm-hmm.
But where in these... Kenneth Walker. So has Breece Hall been the 1-1 in
He's the 1-1 or 1-2. Yeah.
I'm going to pause the draft for a second and switch this so it does it itself. Because I figured we can talk about each pick, but I'd rather it go really quickly.
Yeah, we can still talk about each pick with it.
Let's do 8 hours, just like a real one.
Okay, you don't have to do 8 hours. You can do like a minute.
All right, here we go. Now I'm gonna start it. Resume draft. Malik Willis 1-2, Treylon Burks 1-3. Okay, so what did you just say about Breece Hall? Has he typically been the first guy?
Yeah, he's been the 1-1 or 1-2 in pretty much every.
Now, has Walker been up there with him, or has it been just like Breece Hall?
The earliest I've seen Walker is 1-3. He's usually in the 1-3, 1-6 range.
Because there has been like a debate to which guy is the running back one. So I would imagine that would lend to be the 1-1, but typically in Superflex and non-Superflex leagues, wide receivers are the ones that go off the board first. So Breece Hall going 1-1 is a little bit of a surprise, to me at least.
Yeah. No, I think it's a surprise too. I think Willis, I mean, it's going to depend on landing spot with those guys, with who goes where. I think in the top 3, especially, there's no definitive one.
Right.
It's going to depend on team need and obviously draft capital and where the guys went. I know I have the first overall pick in a league that we're in together. I'm probably going to take a running back just because I have Justin Fields and Justin Herbert already and Tua at quarterback. So tell me Ben. So probably going to take
another running back. You keep taking running backs.
What do you mean? I have Jonathan Taylor.
Take a wide receiver for once in your life.
I have like 5 receivers in the league that are startable. Why would I take another?
Yeah, I in a super flex, if you're the 1-1, I would probably take Malik Willis, because quarterbacks in super flex leagues are the most important.
And he's going to be a runner.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to be a runner. So it's like I would definitely take Malik Willis as the first quarterback off the board, and I would take him probably 1-1 in a super flex or 2 quarterback league, because I feel like in those leagues, quarterbacks are way more valuable than you would initially.
I agree. This goes back to the debate a couple years ago too, with like Burrow or Clyde or Jonathan Taylor. Taylor probably might have been the best answer, but he ended up being the RB1 in all of fantasy. That's like the only exception. But look how much more valuable Burrow is compared to Clyde now.
I drafted Burrow 2 years ago in a team that I was rebuilding and won the championship last year. There's obviously other things involved in that, but because of the way Burrow played down the stretch this year, it really helped the production on my fantasy team. But if you have 2 superstar quarterbacks...
Are you telling me I need to draft Malik Willis to go with...
I'm not convincing you of
Fields
anything.
And Herbert?
To go with them. Just go with them. You don't need Tua. Get him out of there.
I feel like Breece Hall and Jonathan Taylor, though, would be an insane combo running back to go with Fields.
Depending on landing spot, yeah. I don't know. That's for you to decide and for us to find out.
True.
But anyway, in this mock, Malik Willis goes 1-2. And then we have Treylon Burks at the 1-3. So he's been starting to rise back up boards, at least from what I've seen, as the consensus one for the wide receiver position, which is an interesting take. He's not mine. I'm going to take my one. I'm going to take Garrett Wilson.
Boo this man, boo.
Yeah, because you
literally
went
picked the 1-4. You literally picked the 1-4 to do this.
So I could take Garrett Wilson
is my guy.
So frick you, guy. No, okay. Garrett Wilson, obviously, I think the receiver that I take at 4 is going to be really dependent on landing spot. And so if Garrett Wilson goes, to the Green Bay Packers, for example, I'll start ripping my shorts off. But, if somebody else ends up landing in a better spot and they, they're going to get a lot of work, I say workload like he's a running back, but he's going to get a lot of target share. And it just leads me to believe that, maybe Garrett Wilson goes somewhere where he doesn't, like, say he gets drafted by Dallas. I'm not excited about that in the slightest. So,
yeah,
we'll see. But Garrett Wilson right now is my current wide receiver 1, so I'll take him off the board easily.
Yeah, to me, it's between 3 people now at the spot because Wilson was my guy.
Yep.
So Drake London, Kenneth Walker, and Jameson Williams. I'm really tempted to go Jameson Williams. I'm not going to though. As tempting as it is, because I really like the player.
You want it. You want it.
And I think Kenneth Walker, depending on landing spot, should be the pick here. Mm-hmm. But for considering I do not know his landing spot and I know the longevity of receivers in Dynasty, I'm going to take Drake London here, the 1-5.
Okay. I wish they had pictures of these players. That would be nice.
They will eventually.
So after Rick's pick, we have Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Spiller, Kenny Pickett, Jameson Williams, Matt Carroll, Sam Howell, and Desmond Ridder. So we have 4 quarterbacks going off the board after that. I personally feel like in a 2 quarterback, just based on the situation, I don't like. Do you expect Ridder and Howell, or the 2 quarterbacks that end up in the second round? Do you expect them to go that high, or
no? Because it's gonna again. This is one of those where it's you do a rookie draft before the actual NFL draft, and you're just kind of guessing where some of these guys are going.
Yeah.
Because one of these quarterbacks, I guarantee you, one of these 4 is gonna slip down draft boards and not land in a good spot, and he will not be an early second round pick or late first.
I would personally say for a second round pick, if a quarterback goes in the second round of the NFL, like the actual NFL draft,
yeah,
I really don't, unless there's a plan, I really am not interested in drafting them in the second round of a rookie draft. I would wait until the third. Like last year we had, what was it, Kellen Mond and Davis Mills.
Right.
And those guys ended up going early third, mid third at that
point. They were the last pick of the second round, though.
Yeah, even if they went in the second round. So I see, like, I definitely think, like, you're going to see, some people are saying there's going to be 5 quarterbacks in the first round in the NFL draft. I don't think so. I think you're going to see Willis go. I think Pickett's going to go, and then you're going to see one of Howell or Carroll go. And I think it'll probably be Howell in the first round.
I think, just based on what I've heard, it's going to be actually Ridder.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that Ritter's been flying up.
Or Carroll. I don't think it's going to be Howell. And I like Howell, but I think NFL teams are just a little down.
So, I mean, there's going to be 3 quarterbacks that definitely should be taken in the first round of rookie drafts. It just depends on which guys go. So if Ridder ends up going as a first-round quarterback, I'm going to have to say that the intention there is to utilize him as the future of whatever franchise he gets selected as. Or whatever franchise selects him, I should say. So I would say that's probably going to be Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, and then one of Carroll, Howell, or Ridder. And then if like Carroll and Howell end up as second round picks, I should say, in the NFL draft, then they would probably fall the third round in a rookie draft. But because it's so thin at quarterback, I think some people will try to reach for the quarterback position too. So
sure,
yeah,
I can see that.
But we also had 2 running backs, Isaiah Spiller, Kenneth Walker, come off the board. After this at running back, it's kind of like anything goes. So, like, do you want to take a running back in the second round? You'll probably talk about that at your 2-5. But, like, if Spiller, Walker, and Breece Hall are off the board going into the second round, do you still think you would take a running back if you needed one there? Or would you wait till, like, the third and fourth round to take a
I would not. But it's, again, and I'm saying this again because it's very relevant, the NFL drafts will have an effect on it. Yeah. So if White goes like in the second round to a team and lands in a good landing spot, then yeah, he's going to be worth the 2-5, 100%. Mm-hmm. But as it stands right now, I don't think there's a player that I would take at the 2-5, but the running back position, there's just a couple of receivers that I would consider over him.
Okay. So
but
for
I don't
me,
know if you're gonna one again.
I'm gonna take another wide receiver. I think it's gonna be
Olave at the 2-2, by the way, is not
George Pickens is really fast, but then Christian Watson's really big and fast.
Right.
I'm going to take Christian Watson. 6'5", 200. That's what Sleeper has him as. That's ridiculous. I'm going to take Christian Watson. In the second round, I mean, at this point, there should be receivers that people are like, and you probably should take George Pickens. If you had to make a choice, I like the big, fast wide receivers, and so I'll take Christian Watson here. But you could go with George Pickens here if you wanted to. You could also go with Sky Moore, or what's his name?
Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson. He's been flying up boards too, but
so go ahead.
I think for Watson going in the second round here, I think it's all going to depend on, like, because if he didn't go at my pick, he would have probably gone somewhere between 2.5 and 2.8. So I would say that for me, I think it's going to depend on, once again, landing spot for Christian Watson. Like if he goes to a bad spot and ends up a 4th round pick, he'll probably fall into the 3rd round somewhere. But if he ends up getting drafted as like a 2nd round pick to a team that needy wide receiver team, like say the Chiefs, then I think he could fly up, maybe even into the 1st round.
Sure, absolutely.
So anyway, but I like his profile. I like that he's big. I like that he's fast. So I'll take him.
Yeah, I mean, you like big and fast receivers?
Yeah.
George Pickens kind of fits that bill too.
He does.
He's 6'3", 200, and ran a 4.47. So that's pretty good. He was a 5-star. I believe he was a 5-star recruit coming out, and as a true freshman, had 8 touchdowns, 727 yards in 12 games, and then he got hurt and really didn't play much in college after that.
Yeah.
So he's kind of raw because of that. He just didn't play a lot in college. But if you watch it, like he's one of these guys that the film people love him because he looks like an NFL receiver, and I definitely am high on him. So I'm very glad he was my guy that I was hoping he wouldn't pick. So I will gladly take George Pickens at the 2.5.
I had to give you one after taking Garrett Wilson.
Landing spot though could affect it because he could land in a bad spot and kind of fall.
I'm going to pull this up because I want to see, maybe they have guys that have been interviewed. NBC Sports Edge, pulling it up. Guys are starting to get interviewed for certain positions. Teams like, I've heard the Cowboys have interviewed a lot of wide receivers. Patriots, obviously. The Chiefs have interviewed a bunch of wide receivers. So I'm going to see if they have that information live for who we were talking about, George Pickens.
Yeah. The only team I've seen him rumored to 2 teams, and that's Atlanta because he's went to Georgia and he's from the area, I believe. And the Bears is that the team we saw that could be interested in him.
Huh.
But Jahan Dotson's another guy that I think is very interesting out of Penn State. He's a really good route runner. I like his game a lot. But yeah, there's a guy who fell to us here that's I guarantee you if we did this draft with real people,
he would not be there.
Sky Moore, I'm just gonna say it. Sky Moore would probably go early 2nd round.
Yeah.
Because there are people that are really high on him.
Agree.
I'm not one of those people. I don't think you are either.
Yeah.
I think he's a little overrated. He's a good player. I think he has a role in an NFL offense, but I just don't think he's going to be super fantasy relevant.
He's 5'10", 195. He's
that's fine if you're like.
I just look at him and I'm like, he just doesn't do like if you don't add really any super great aspects to your game. Besides, like if you're short, you really need to be fast. Like
he's fast, but he's not like I don't think he's the route runner of like, let's compare last year to a guy who is in a similar spot and with the same last name, Elijah Moore. Yeah. Elijah Moore was a lot more shifty to me and is just a better route runner than Sky Moore is.
If you, like he's a 90th percentile 40-yard dash, so he is like fast. But like if you are 5'10", 191, like you have to do something really, really well. And I don't know that there's anything that this guy does really, really well. I mean, he has a 22nd percentile catch radius, 26th percentile agility score, 50th percentile burst score, 61st percentile speed score. So, like, he's not quick. He's not super agile according to the workout metrics, right? He doesn't have a big catch radius because he's freaking short. So it's like, I just don't see. I was hearing about a ton about Sky Moore. I was like, oh my god, Sky Moore. And I'm like, okay, I gotta look this guy up. I did, and I was like, this guy's not great.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's bad again, but
yeah,
I would take him over the last two receivers that went though, for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So after Rick's pick, we had Johan Dotson, Trey McBride, Rashad White. I think it's Curran Williams. I'm not sure how to say his first name. And then Justin Ross, David Bell, James Cook. And then what the heck is Z White?
I think it's Zaire White, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Zaire White.
He's Zamir White. So, yeah, I think the value for Sky Moore here is really high, but I don't know that Sky is going to fit into an NFL mode. Like, is he flying up draft boards for the NFL?
Yeah, I haven't looked at a mock draft recently. I know there was rumors about the earliest I think I would see him going is the Chiefs at the end of the first round, but I've also seen like late second round, which is totally
if he gets drafted that high. Maybe, but he doesn't have elite speed. Like, he's fast, but he's not like Tyreek Hill or
he's not super shifty. Fast. And you know how I like them shifty guys.
You like shifty guys. I'm going to take a running back just for kicks. Damon Pierce. Depends on landing spot for him, but if he goes to a good spot, I would take him in the third round. And he's my fifth guy, and he's been drafted as the seventh running back.
That is very good value for him there in the third round.
I was going to take Sky Moore, but I just talked myself out of it.
Yeah, after all, I just feel like we can't double pass on there, you know.
Yeah.
And I do think in the third round it's good value. I just don't like how people are drafting him ahead of guys like Pickens.
Yeah.
Ahead of guys even like Olave, Christian Watson. Right. Even Dotson to me, I would prefer Dotson over Sky Moore.
I would say too. I wanted John Mechie.
I'm surprised you didn't take Mechie.
I was tempted, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I have other mock drafts where I can do that. Yeah, no, I agree, Rick. As a third round pick, I think it's definitely a guy that like you should draft. He kind of reminds me a little bit, not physically, you know, or play style wise. I just mean like in conjunction with the value in a rookie draft, Amon-Ra St. Brown from last year, where he kind of fell off. There were some people that were like, okay, I love Amon-Ra, but pre-draft, he was somewhere early in the third round, and people weren't like, you know, forcing him into the second. And then he got drafted to the Lions. And literally, Lions not exciting landing spot, but 0 receivers makes it slightly more exciting. So if he goes to a good landing spot, then I could see him flying up into the early second round. But yeah, it's not a bad pick at 3-5. After Rick's pick, we had Carson Strong, John Mechie, Wanson Robinson. Wait, hold on a second. See, you get late in these drafts. Wandale Robinson, sorry.
Yes.
And then Jalen Weidemeyer. We got a lot of tight ends that got taken. Brian Robinson, and then likely Dulcich and Woods. And then my pick. And I'm like, what the... I mean, I will say, fourth round draft selections for tight ends is smash. It's a smash. Like, I was going to do that.
Right.
The one thing I did notice was Trey McBride went in the second round. How do you feel about that?
It's okay. I mean, at the 2-7, it's not bad. I'm not super high on him, but if he's the first tight end that comes off the board in the NFL, and let's say he's like a late second round pick, it's like Cole Kmet a couple years ago. So yeah, a late second round pick, sure. But Anything earlier than that, I'm out on.
I would say Dolchich is my second guy, and he's a 4th round pick, so it is what it is. But I would definitely take tight end. I'd love to take tight ends in the 4th round of rookie drafts, just because it's usually your 4th round pick is a flyer pick, and you can get, generally speaking, you're not going to see freaking 5 tight ends go in the first. What is this? Freaking 40 picks. So anyway, but I would normally take, like, if Dolchich is there in this round, or Woods, or even Isaiah Likely, like I would take one of these guys here in the 4th round, because it's a great flyer pick, and those guys have a better shot of succeeding than drafting the 10th running back off the board or the 12th wide receiver. You know what
Sure,
I mean?
yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at this point. I'm kind of surprised Carson Strong went 3-6. That's funny. But anyway.
Yeah, that is.
I got to make my pick. I've heard a lot about this Khalil Shakir guy. 6 feet, 190 pounds, from Boise State. Patriots have been very interested in that guy. That's probably why I heard of him.
Oh, interesting.
Alec Pierce. Didn't he have a really fast 40 time?
Yeah, he profiles pretty well.
Alec Pierce.
Let me see if I can. Yeah.
Oh, he's that
6'3", 208
that we were talking about the other day.
Yeah, 6'3", 208, 4.41. Had a high speed and burst score. His agility score is not great, though. So it kind of shows you the quickness. But he did have a really good year playing with Desmond Ridder. And according to Chris Sims, he's the 2nd best or the 3rd best receiver in this class.
I'll take a flyer.
Take a flyer on him?
Yeah, I'll take a flyer on Alec Pierce.
Dang, you're stealing my pick again.
You get to pick in front of me next time.
I really don't want to go for receivers.
Yeah.
But that's just how I feel about this draft class.
It's literally only receivers.
The running backs at this point are worthless. The quarterbacks at this point are worthless after Carson Strong. So it just comes down to taking a flyer tight end or another receiver. And the tight ends I probably would have taken a flyer on are off the board. The only other guy I'd think about is Jeremy Ruckett out of Ohio State. And I don't think he's that great of a prospect. He's probably going to be like a 4th or 5th round pick.
Yeah.
He's okay. He's a big tight end. The only highlight I've ever seen from him is him catching a touchdown from Justin Fields. And that was it. That was the last time I ever heard of him in college. And now all of a sudden here he is. He could be a good flyer in the 4th round, but again, we're talking about 4th round picks here. So right. I'm going to take someone who some people are very high on, and that's Calvin Austin.
Oh, isn't that the guy with the speed?
Everyone has speed. So that's the only reason why I'm taking him out of Memphis. He's 5'8", 170, so it might just be like a punt returner in the NFL, but he ran a 4.32.
Sheesh.
So there is a chance that he just dominates the NFL. I mean, he had 2 1,000-yard receiving seasons in college, so it's pretty good.
I don't think I need to say the rest of this picks in this draft.
Yeah. Trash.
Zape and Elby, these wide receiver, these quarterbacks, Bailey Zape.
But watch, someone's gonna clip this in 5 years from now, and Caleb Elby is
the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
And he's throwing 40 touchdowns a year
to Justin Jefferson. Yeah. Calvin Austin is I think that's a fantastic flyer pick in the 4th round, especially with his. Like I said, it's a guy that he may not be super shifty like Rick has talked about, but I think he's really an intriguing prospect because he's extremely fast, and anyone that runs a 4.26?
4.32.
Oh, was it a 4.32?
That's his official time too. Yeah, 98th percentile.
Holy crap, that's fast. So he ran a lot faster of a 40 time than I think a lot of people thought for him. But with that kind of speed, that does translate to things in the NFL. He is a little bit on the small side though. So, but it's one of those picks where he definitely could, and he profiles similar to Marquise Brown too. he definitely could have some success in the NFL if he gets drafted. And I've noticed, like, do you remember a couple years ago, a guy by the name of Mecole Hardman?
Sure.
He was like the 7th, 8th wide receiver for most people in that draft class, and got drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs, I think, in the 2nd round.
And I'm not saying Mecole Hardman's a great player, but if you could get Mecole Hardman in the 4th round of a rookie draft, I think that's pretty good.
But I think people that in the NFL, scouts and teams value speed. And
yes,
so
absolutely.
If you can get a guy like Calvin Austin, in the 2nd or 3rd round of the NFL draft, I think a team would be very, very happy with that. But it just depends on how he's rating to everyone else. You know what I mean? Because his workout metrics are great. Like he doesn't do anything not well. So his speed score is not great. But his 40-yard dash time is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
and his burst and agility score is still very high.
Yeah, and he also has a good catch radius. So I think
being 5'8".
Exactly. So I think Calvin Austin is a great late round pick, but he's also one of those guys that, like I said, you're going to end up in a position where if he gets drafted to a team that is really, really good, he'll fly up boards. He'll be a 2nd round pick.
What about the Patriots in the 3rd round?
Oh, I love it. Field stretcher, probably the 17th guy on the roster. He'll sit behind Trey Nixon as the wide receiver 23 on a team that doesn't have any wide receivers.
Of course.
Because that's Bill. But anyway, yeah. So there is a rookie mock draft. The first one that we've done. We might do a couple more before the NFL draft. Hopefully we do, because that time is coming up fast, 3 weeks away. But I had Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Dameon Pierce, and Alec Pierce. So I like the Pierces in my draft. What do you got, Rick?
I took Drake London, George Pickens, Sky Moore, and Calvin Austin. Looking back on this, I think I probably should have taken Kenneth Walker just because I went heavy on receiver.
Yeah. Well, you never know what's going to happen in a rookie draft.
True.
I probably would have taken Kenneth Walker too. But anyway, there you have it. We're talking about must-draft wide receivers on Thursday. Check it out, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.